The best thing that ever happened to me was having a mentor. I deeply admired him, the way he spoke, his vision, how he turned complex ideas into simple strategic action plans were all mesmerizing. One day, I finally asked him, if you could give me only one piece of advice to help me find my way, what would it be? He gently smiled and said, don't spread out, my friend. Deepen. Don't dig holes everywhere. Dig one and dive deeply. That advice stayed with me. At the time, I didn't realize how heavy it was, but it followed me like a shadow. It changed how I practiced rhetoric, how I read books, how I watched films, commercials, speeches. Most importantly, it changed how I speak. In Athens, particularly during the 4th and 5th centuries BC, when rhetoric was becoming an art, there were schools dedicated to training speakers. These schools followed a program of 12 practices, progressing from the simplest to the most demanding. Today, I want to share those journeys with you as I practice, learn, and enjoy the process along the way. First, Fable. He told me this one early and said, always keep a few short stories in your pocket, my friend. Simple ones. Tell one of them clearly, connect it to an idea, and finish with a lesson people can actually use. Here's one, and I love this. One morning, a fox saw his shadow on the ground. He proudly said, today, I'm going to eat a camel for lunch. He spent the entire morning looking for a camel. He was so proud that he ignored small food like mice or rabbits. He found nothing. At noon, when the sun was high, he looked down and saw his shadow once again. This time he said, actually, a mouse would be fine. The lesson is, don't let your ego trick you. See the things as they really are, not as you wish them to be. Second, storytelling. This one was his favorite. He added with enthusiasm, my dear friend, facts tell, stories sell. Tell a clear story, real or fictional. Show cause and effect, then connect it to a principle and give people a roadmap. Here's another one I'm in love with. A water carrier had 2 pots. One was perfect, but the other had a crack. Every day, the perfect pot delivered a full portion of water, while the cracked pot leaked and arrived only half full. The crackpot felt ashamed and apologized to the man for its failure. The man smiled and said, hey, look at the path. On the crackpot's side, beautiful flowers were blooming. The man explained, I knew about your crack, so I planted seeds there. Every day, you watered them. Without your flow, these flowers wouldn't be here. The takeaway is this: our imperfections can lead to something beautiful if we look at them differently. What follows? Quotation. Sometimes you need to borrow wisdom, but watch your tone, he emphasized. You quote a great mind and build on their perspective. Abraham Lincoln once said, give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. The idea is preparation. The action is thinking before acting. Next, moral or behavior rule. This one cuts straight to the point. He told me to state a simple rule that guides behavior. For example, character is what you do when no one is watching. It's simple and memorable. Next, confirmation or refutation. He said, here you will test beliefs. Create positive or negative arguments. Test ideas with reason, clarity, and logic. Ask yourself, is this belief true? Does it hold up under pressure? For instance, if everyone agrees with me, does that make it true or just popular? We're halfway there. Commonplace. He said, this one will teach you balance. Describe a commonly known event or situation. Show both its negative and positive sides. And added, every situation has 2 faces. A good rhetor reveals both. For instance, social media connects people, yet it also isolates them. Next, blame or critique. He looked me in the eye, serious. I was waiting for what would come next, and he added, critique isn't cruelty. When done right, it's care. For instance, the problem isn't ambition itself, but ambition without ethics. Ninth, comparison. I was noting everything down in my notebook, barely stopping to breathe. He raised both hands and said, compare two people, two ideas, or two paths. Through comparison, truth becomes visible. Then he added, keep this example in your mind. Comfort chooses ease today. Discipline chooses freedom tomorrow. He continued with personification, speaking in another voice. This one helps you see differently. Speak on behalf of someone who is not present or even imagined. Ask yourself, what would Lincoln say about this today? That's where understanding deepens. 11th is description, my friend. Here you paint pictures like an artist. Free your imagination. Describe something vividly. A person, an idea, a moment. And remember this. If they can see it, they can feel it. And the hardest part, of course, came at the end. He finished by saying, propose a role, a solution, or a new way forward. Always remember, rhetoric is not just about speaking. Anyone can talk, but few can impress, and even fewer can persuade. And I don't mean impressing with fancy words, sentences, or phrases. Impress with clarity, persuade with authenticity.